So this is PVY's latest e-bike. It's a cargo-style e-bike, step through the design. It's got 27.5-inch size wheels and 180mm hydraulic disc brakes. The battery, which is removable, located here in the frame, that's 11.6 amp hours, gives us a range they claim of up to 100 kilometers. I'll be testing that out. And the top speed, if unlocked, this motor here can get up to 750 watts and up to 40 kilometers per hour. Again, I'll be testing that out in this video here and what kind of range I can get out of the PVY P26. As you can see, the P26 does come well packaged up. Everything's got a bit of protection around it. The only thing I noticed is there's a bit of rubbing here on the plastic mudguard, which is not great, but it's only very minor there. And for assembly, all I need to do is install that front wheel and our handlebars. That should take me around about 15-20 minutes only to get it all set up. And included in a small brown box, you'll find some tools, our screen, the pedals, and the charger. So there are a few other things I want to run through with the bike. So to start with, the kickstand, pretty standard here, holds and supports the bike's weight, which is really good. And they do have some nuts on the other side of those bolts there too, so that's keeping it in place nice and firm. Brakes, these are non-branded hydraulic disc brakes, so 180mm, and the discs are ventilated, which is standard there, of course. And our rear hub motor, so this, normally they're 250 watts. This is actually 750 watts. The motor, when you unlock it, 65 Newton meters of torque. Now the bike rack here, that can handle up to 50 kilos. We have a 2-stage brake light, which does a really good job of just keeping a little bit safer there. And I like it, it's bright. And we've got plastic mud guards, which is good because they don't transmit vibrations, make noise like the metal ones do. You don't have to worry about them rusting too later on. And our paint job, so this is like a primer gray. It's a matte gray that they have used, PVY. And it's okay. I would have preferred some other options, but I think it's not a bad paint finish to it. And the frame finish is good. The welds look good. And we have a speed sensor right here, which is one of the weaknesses of this bike. So that speed sensor can sometimes be a little bit slow to cut out the power. It can take a second before it cuts off that power there. And here are our pedals, which are just aluminium alloy pedals here. And they're all right, non-branded ones too as well. So the front shock, they say 100mm of travel is what it does have. And I think it's just slightly under that, about 70-80mm of travel according to the grease marks I do have. So you can adjust the preload. And over on the other side there, you can see you can also lock out that front shock. Now the front headlight, I've seen a lot of this model before. It's got those 4 powerful LEDs. It does work really well, bright, and it lights up the path ahead of me. I've got no complaints with this light. It is very good. It's powerful. And there's those mud guards. So the front here, front hub has no quick release, unfortunately. And we're using here Chow Yang tires, so 27.5-inch by 2.1 inches wide. Front cargo rack here. Now I have actually been using this. I put a package on this and I went down to the post office and it was very handy to have this option. So this can handle 15 kilos. There are a couple of mounting points. Well, 4 of them you can see, 4 mounting points there. Most people would just screw a basket on that. And you can see I've got a key hanging there. That is for our removable battery, which is 11.6 amp hours. And as mentioned, it's a 48-volt system. The charge time of the removable battery is 5 to 6 hours. And that's, of course, where the slot is there to unlock it. So you simply need to insert the key here, turn that. The battery pops up a little bit, and I'll show you what it's like removed. So it was great having this removable battery, but it's only 11.6 amp hours. I wish it was a little larger. They claim up to 100 kilometers range, but I've not been able to get that out of a single charge. This is where the battery then slots into place, and you can see that is our plug. It's where it gets the power from, and it sits in there really nice and firm, and it doesn't move about, so there's no annoying battery rattle with this bike, which is great. So putting the battery back into the bike is very easy. You just need to push in this part here at the bottom, and then bring them together just with a little push. You hear a click, and that's it. It's in place there, and there's a gasket that goes over where the DC in is for charging it. So the seat post is the only place you will find a quick release. And the padding on this seat, well, it's comfortable. There is plenty of padding. I don't have any problems with it. The chain wheel here, this has 48 teeth, and you can see it's got a plastic protector around it. The chain brand, it's very hard for me to make out, but it is a branded chain. However, it's not KMC. We've got Shimano tourney here, and this is a 7-speed setup. So here on the right, we have our gear selector. That is the twist style throttle, pretty standard. I've seen a lot of that exact same model on some of these other bikes. And our screen, so you can see that it's bright enough. Now, it doesn't shimmer and flicker like that normally. This is just on camera. So you got the information of your pedal assist levels. So that's 1, 2, 5, or 0 if you want. You can just turn that off completely. You can see the voltage, trip, and odometer. The handlebar height can be adjusted. And you can also bring the handlebar here up a little bit too. If you want it to be higher for you, bring it in towards you. And then on the left side, we've got our light. So this is a switch that you can have always on. I just keep it in all the time. And this is our buzzer, the horn, which is quite a loud one in case anyone gets in your way or whatever. You can advise them with that, which is great. And here we have our selector. So you got the M. This is to go through those modes, to turn it on and off as well, up and down the pedal assist level. So pretty straightforward. Seen a lot of this exact same setup. Now the levers, they do feel good. Being hydraulic, they've got a nice feel to them, a lot better than cable pull. So I'm glad this bike does have the hydraulic brakes and not cable mechanical disc brakes. Ride test time now for the PVY P26. So that step through frame, the seat very wide, comfortable to sit on, so it's easy to get on. Swept back handlebars means you do have an upright riding position, and of course you've got the throttle, so you don't even need to pedal when you start off. It really depends on how you want to ride this bike here, so you can just use that and you can get up to, if you've got it unlocked, we're at about 40 kilometers per hour top speed. So instead of pedaling now, I'll just show you that I can just pull on that and away I go. You hear the motor a little bit, but it's not too bad. It's not an offensive noise. It's a typical kind of electric motor noise that I do hear out of the P26 here. So riding in that upright position is really quite comfortable. So your back is straight, comfortable, large seat. The gears, they are working well, so no problems with our Shimano tourney with those changes. They seem to be all in the line good out of the box. So I have a tiny bit of rough rocky stuff ahead. So that front shock, it's got about 70 to 80 millimeters of travel, and it helps out. It certainly does something. Better than having no shock. No shock on the rear, of course, and the seat doesn't have a shock in it either. So you will feel some of those bumps. But for city commutes, it is good. It is smooth, and that upright riding position is comfortable. So I have completely unlocked it now, and I want to test out the top speed. So I'm using the throttle as well as pedaling. I'm in pedal assist level 5 of 5. Just get away from these people here. So I'm already at 30 kilometers per hour, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40 kilometers per hour, and that's about it. Running out of space here. So if you unlock it with that 48 volt 750 watt motor, it can get you up to a nice top speed of 40 kilometers per hour. So this is my climb test spot, and it can handle 20-degree climbs, and I do have it unlocked at the moment just for this climb test, again, just to see what kind of performance we get. So 16 kilometers per hour, handling this climb, really not bad at all. I'm only putting in about 20% effort. This is very good. Climbing up this with that 65 newton meters of torque from the 750 watt motor with its 48 volt system, of course, that it runs off. Now I can stop pedaling now and just use the throttle. And it's a little slower doing so. 13 kilometers per hour climb now, and it was 16 when I was pedaling. So if you want to go up the climbs a little bit faster, pedaling will help out the motor a little, and you really don't have to put that much effort in at all. It is a powerful motor here, great for climbs. Another good thing about the P26 is the braking performance. 180 millimeter hydraulic disc brakes from that post. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, just past this post here, puts it into a, well, below average, slightly below average brake test. Then it was the tires. The rear tire would easily lock up on me, and fat tires tend to do a little bit better because they're wider. They give us a little bit more grip, but the braking performance for 2.1 inch wide tires, 27.5, isn't bad. And I like the fact they went with hydraulic. You normally see around this price point, around the 1,300, 1,200 mark, a lot of bikes still using mechanical disc brakes. So what about our range then? PVY says 100 kilometers is the maximum range you can get out of the 11.6 amp hour battery. While it is true, the larger diameter wheels, the better the range you're going to get, and the smaller battery size you do need. But I'm only looking around 50 to 60 kilometers out of this, and that is limited to 25 kilometers per hour. So the range isn't quite as good as they say it is, and I wish the battery was a little larger, something like 16 amp hours or even 20 amp hours would have been ideal for a bike like this, but they're probably trying to keep the weight down, which, by the way, is 24 kilos for this bike. So it rides really well. The gears are good. It's got plenty of climbing power, as I showed you, and it can get up to 40 kilometers per hour top speed if unlocked, which is not what you normally see with this style of bike, where they step through having the 750 watt motor with the 65 Newton meters of torque, and then the cargo style that if you want, you can of course put a basket on the front of it, one on the rear, and you can carry various different things. Maybe you want to go shopping with this and you can load that in, which just gives you options there, of course, too, with it. I would have liked to have seen a quick release on the front wheel. We don't have any quick releases on this at all. It's really that, but the build quality of it, the frame finish, the paint job, all checks out. So it's not a bad bike. I just wish the range there was better with the PVY P26. So thanks a lot for watching this review. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.